am Dr. Jessie John, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today we will discuss anatomy of clinical thorax. Namaste, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. First we will discuss the cervical rib, most common thorax pathology. Cervical rib occurs in approximately 0.5% of the person. It arises from the transverse process of the seventh cervical vertebra. It may have a free anterior end, may be connected to the first rib by a fibrous band, or may articulate with the first rib. It also may cause pressure on the lower trunk of the brachial plexus or the subclavian artery, leading to the symptoms and signs that are referred to as the thoracic outlet syndrome. So you can see the cervical rib. This is the extra rib that is connected to the first rib. Now, most common clinical pathology of the thorax is the rib fracture. The weakest part of a rib is just anterior to its angle, and rib fracture commonly result from direct blows or indirectly from crushing injuries. The middle ribs are most commonly fractured. Direct violence may fracture a rib anywhere, and its broken ends may injure internal organs such as a lung or the spleen. So these are the ribs that always protect the lungs, and sometimes when it damages, and it will damage to the other organs also. Failed chest occurs when a sizable segment of the anterior and lateral thoracic wall moves freely because of multiple rib fractures. These conditions allow the loose segment of the wall to move paradoxically. Frail chest is an extremely painful injury and impairs ventilation, thereby affecting oxygenation of the blood. During the treatment, the loose segment is often fixed by hooks and wires so that it cannot move. Now we will see the another thoracic pathology, that is the sternal fractures. Sternal fractures are not common, but crush injuries can occur during traumatic compression of the thoracic wall. When the body of the sternum is fractured, it is usually a comminuted fracture. It means it broken into several pieces, and most common site of the sternal fracture is the sternal angle, resulting in dislocation of the manubriosternal joint. In sternal injuries, the concern is for the likelihood of heart and pulmonary injury. Median sternotomy, to gain access to the thoracic cavity for surgical procedure on the heart and blood vessel. For example, the sternum is divided in the median plane and retracted. After surgery, the halves of the sternum are reunited and held together with the wire sutures. Now you will see the sternal biopsies. The sternal body is often used for bone marrow needle biopsy because of its breadth and subcutaneous position. The needle pierces the thin cortical bone and enters the vascular trabecular bone. Sternal biopsy is commonly used to obtain specimen of bone marrow for transplantation and for detection of the metastatic cancer. Now we'll see the rib excision. Surgeons use an H-shaped incision to incise the superficial aspect of the periosteum that initiates the rib. Strip the periosteum from the rib and then remove a wide segment of the rib to gain better access, as might be required to enter the thoracic cavity and remove a lung, for example. In the rib's absence, entry into the thoracic cavity can be made through the deep aspect of the periosteal sheath, sparing the adjacent intercostal muscles. After the operation, the missing piece of the ribs regenerate from the intact periosteum, although imperfectly. Now we will see the thoracic outline syndrome. The brachial plexus of the nerves and the subclavian artery and veins are closely related to the upper surface of the first rib and the clavicle as they enter the upper limb. It is here that the nerves or blood vessels may be compressed between the bones. Because the thoracic outlet is superior thoracic apertures, where the important nerves and arteries pass through the aperture into the lower neck and upper limb. So, various type of the thoracic outlet syndrome exist, such as the costo-clavicular syndrome, where the symptom will arise as paleness and coldness of the skin of the upper limb, and diminished radial pulse resulting from compression of the subclavian artery between the clavicle and the first rib, particularly when the angle between the neck and the shoulder is increased. Now we'll see the dislocation of the ribs. A rib dislocation is the displacement of the costal cartilage from the sternum. This causes severe pain, particularly during deep respiratory movements. The injury produces a lump like deformity at the dislocation site. Rib dislocations are common in body contact sports, and possible complications are pressure on a damage to nearby nerves, vessels, and muscles. Rib separation refers to dislocation of the costochondral junction between the ribs and its costal cartilage, separation of the third through tenth ribs, tearing of the perichondrium and periosteum usually occurs. As a result, the rib may move superiorly, overriding the rib above and causing pain. Now we'll see the needle thoracostomy. It is necessary for the patient with tension pneumothorax or with a large hematothorax. Purpose is to remove the air or blood to allow the lung to the expand. Needle should be kept close to the upper border of the rib to avoid injuring the intercostal vessels and nerves in the subcostal groove. Now we will see the penetrating injuries of the diaphragm. Any penetrating wound to the chest below the level of the nipple should be suspected of causing damage to the diaphragm until proved. The arching domes of the diaphragm can reach the level of the fifth rib. The right dome can reach a higher level than of it. We will see the breast quadrants and the pathology of the breast that present in the thorax, and we will see it in another video. Till then you study. Thank you so much.